You know, the introduction of growth in media seems to follow a pattern, doesn't it? The invention of the printing press was a disruptive technology in that it changed everything. Most important thing that it did at the time was it gave the people the ability to have the Bible, the Word of God, and that in their day that they could read for themselves. Okay? The creation of airwave media, radio and television, was a disruptive technology in that it had brought the world so much closer together, but now there was no place you couldn't go and visit without there was no place you could go from the comfort of your own home. Okay? The development of social media has been such a disruptive technology that compared to the others, it's like comparing the difference between lightning and a lightning bug. Okay. But as I mentioned earlier, it seems that media platforms seem to go through a revolution or a pattern. And sometimes that pattern involves consolidation and consolidation and control. And so what has happened over time is you get, as I showed you earlier, that there are maybe 5 companies that own all the news you see, that own all the news outlets that you see. And what's different about social media is that now we're seeing that sometimes there's a bit of control there as well. Some of you may have seen this. Any of you use YouTube and seen one of those, especially if you think like us. Or how many of you have probably been in Facebook jail? Okay, my wife finds herself there kind of regularly. If you know how strong-minded she is, and then of course, what's it say? Oops. And then we have our friends from Google. Now, Google is pervasive. It is everywhere. We've got Gmail, we've got Calendar. We depend so much on this particular technology. How many of you, by the way, how many of you experienced the Facebook outage several weeks ago? Do you remember that? Facebook went down, okay, for over 12 hours. What happens when everything that you have and depend on Google goes down? Now, they don't. I've been with them long enough that they went down once, and I remember that, okay? But what I want to share with you is that because Google and Facebook have become so large and so rich, we find that there's a movement to be freer. There's a movement that people are looking for an outlet to be less controlled and what's the word I'm looking for? Censored, less censored. Okay, and so we become. Oh, I forgot. I wanted to share something with you. How many of you are familiar with the digital Paul Revere?
Who is he?
Okay, what I want to share with you is. Maybe Frank can give you some background on this guy. He recently moved from China after being there for 9 or 11 years? 11 years. We've agreed, frankly, not to reveal his identity, simply because of his connections here and overseas. It probably endangered them. He literally had to escape from China. However, he was a socialist. He moved to that country because he wanted to live in a socialist utopia and discovered that's not what he was expecting. Okay? From what Frank told us in the executive committee yesterday, he was lucky to get out of China with his life. And so for that, we're protecting his identity. But something else happened, that his eyes were opened. And now he is motivated and pretty much fired up to let people know that the socialist utopia is a nightmare. It's not a dream. Okay? And so he has written a few things for us, and I wanted to make sure that I credited him with something, because where I'm going next, we got this idea from him. Okay? And he has suggested to us that we need to reach out to millennials. He's a millennial, and we need to reach out to the millennial audience by increasing our presence in alternative social media. And I'm going to show you some of those places. You may have, let's go this way. How many of you are familiar with any of these? Okay. Okay, just MeWe? All right. I had a MeWe account. Okay. MeWe is probably one of the most well-known. Mine is another one. Brighteon is fairly new. Brighteon and BitChute are video outlets. Okay, so they have video media. Diaspora is an interesting one as well. The Constitution Party has a presence on 5 of these, and we're working on getting more. And the reason we're doing that is, one, we want to reach out to an audience who is reaching away from Facebook, from the mainstream social media. So, how many of you know what this is?
That's a QR barcode. QR code.
How many of you know what that is? That's a QR code. Okay. How many of you could point your phones to that and get something from it? I'd like you to try that. Tell me where it takes you. Okay, if anyone has the app and you can get that, just tell me where it takes you. And when you get it, just tell us, just shout it out. Pardon me? Who said that?
Constitution Party.
That takes you to the Constitution Party? Oh, no kidding. All right, I wonder how that happened. Okay. You may see a lot of information being conveyed now by QR code. Okay, you can get your pizza by downloading a QR code. You can do orders. You can get your news. What I recommend is, if you have a business card, put your party QR code on it. Create a QR code. There are websites in which you can simply create a QR code, and I'll show you where I got this one from. And if you put a QR code on your business card, a lot of people will just, especially of the millennial age, and we're trying to find a younger audience, will just click on that and say, oh, they don't even have to type in http://www.constitionparty.com. They won't have to do that. And so that is, and I'll show you later where I got that from. We'll go through this presentation, and then I want to show you the live websites. But I also have a bit of a surprise here, and that is, one thing we want to do is things we can do with technology. Okay? Now, how many of you are familiar with a talk given by the party's founder called Grassroots Politics? I'm sure you would be, Janine. Are you familiar with that talk? Who's heard it? Okay. I want to share a couple things with you, because I believe that Howard Phillips was probably one of the most brilliant political strategists of the 20th century, maybe the 21st, okay? And I want to share with you a couple of audio clips, because what he says here can apply to what we can do to social media today. So bear with me just a second.
We do. We make Aristotle wrote in ancient Greece. And if you're busy, you don't have to read the book. You can just turn to one page where he summarizes his main points. And you know, you don't even have to read the whole page. There's one sentence. There's one sentence. And Aristotle says the key to effective communication is ethical appeal. Ethical appeal. In other words, as Aristotle said, you can stutter, you can mumble, but if your auditors understand that you really believe what you're saying, that you know what you're talking about, that you care deeply about your message, even if you stutter and your enunciation is poor, etc., you will win that audience because they know they can trust you. And that's the whole key. That's the whole key. You don't have to know 10 languages. You don't have to know a lot of big words. You have to convey ethical appeal. And I urge you, if you're thinking about becoming more active politically or in any other realm, pick up a copy of Aristotle's Rhetoric. All right. Again, getting back to the question of media bias, my advice to you is don't waste a lot of time trying to convert the liberals or the indifferent. My advice to you is start your own newspaper. And you say, well, that costs millions of dollars. No, it doesn't. Start if you're the head of a local political organization, and we encourage our Constitution Party leaders to do it. By the way, we're looking for leaders for the Constitution Party in Ohio. We have a lot of good supporters, but we do not have an organized party. And one of the keys to building that organization is to have a leader who will take responsibility for writing a simple letter once a month to everyone on the mailing list. 10 people, 50 people, 100 people, 500 people, your list will grow. And you do it regularly, and you say, dear so-and-so, here's what we've done in the last month, here's what we hope to do in the next month, here are some issues we care about, here are some things you ought to know about it, and by the way, the bills come due every month, I've got to buy postage stamps for this newsletter, and we need money to pay for gas, to travel to meetings, etc. I'd be very grateful if you would use the enclosed envelope to return a contribution.
So let's translate what Howard said to social media, because we don't need postage stamps, do we? Okay. Start your own newspaper. He says we encourage our party leaders to write a newsletter. A newspaper. I said write an online newspaper. Do it regularly. If you only have 50 people, start with 50 people. Okay. Then grow your list. Report back to them, and of course, ask for donations. Okay, we have, and so the part of this presentation is what do we do with the technology we have to grow and build the Constitution Party? Okay, the reason I showed you the QR code is because people can quickly and easily find the party for that. The other thing that Howard is suggesting is that here's the question: are we, as party leaders, reaching out to our people or reaching out to our base? I need to do that. I found this gem, by the way, in an old training manual that I got years ago, and I said, I wonder what's on this CD. Okay. You nodded your head when you heard this. Is anyone else familiar with this? Does that sound familiar? Okay. So maybe we can make this available again. This is called Grassroots Politics by Howard Phillips, and it's amazing. So what is the purpose we have of growing social media? I believe that this is the time, I believe this is our time, that we have a duty right now to awaken our fellow citizens, our friends of liberty, that we're living in an awful situation. I can't believe, I did not dream as a young father that I would see what's happening in the world today coming this quickly. And so it's our job, when God has been kicked out of school, been kicked out of the courthouse, kicked out of the park, kicked out of, when the Word of God is etched off of your public buildings, who's left to stand up for God? Who's left to stand up for the principles of liberty? You've heard, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there's liberty. There's a corollary. Where there's liberty, there's room for the Spirit of the Lord. And if no one else is going to stand up, then this is our day. We've been prepared for such a time as this. And people are begging to hear that message, and we've got it to deliver. So we want to awaken them to our awful situation. Then we want to invite them. We want to invite them. We want to offer them an invitation to do what? To advance the cause of liberty. That's my watchword in Missouri. We want you to come advance the cause of liberty, and in the process, okay, then take action, okay? Learn and teach the principles of liberty, organize, run for office, and support the party. Now, what I want to do is get to, let's see some live action. I can't, okay? I just want to show, where's my rat? I just want to show what we've done with, there we go. Here we go. With the website, or with the website and social media. So right here, this is the Constitution Party website. You're familiar with these better known social icons. Right here, here's our presence. Here's our presence on MeWe. Okay, and I was showing this to the National Committee yesterday, and I had created something. I had created a Constitution Party page here, but I discovered that we already had one. So when you click here, you'll see that we have a presence in Constitution Party, which is fairly active at the moment. Let's see. And we also, here you've got home, you've got a place for chats, groups, and you can show groups, and then you have pages. We have a Constitution Party page. So, on Facebook, you've got, you may create a page and it doesn't look related, or you may create a group. Here, in MeWe, they're all together, and then you've got events. Oh, the Constitution Party is doing something today. What is that? Oh, sweet. Okay. So that's MeWe, and we have Minds. Now, these two articles here on Minds are written by the digital Paul Revere. One is called The Roadmap to Socialism, and the other is The Green New Revolution. I have not, I'm going to put on the website in the next few days, hey, the Constitution Party is now on alternative social media, and you'll be able to see that and reach these sites. Right now, they've kind of been in development a little bit. Okay, this is BitChute, and BitChute and Bright Eon are mostly video, and then, of course this is Gab. Anyone recognize this from the Castle Report? Okay, so this is just, we're developing our presence on alternative social media so that we can reach out to people who are not only escaping the mainstream media, but to a newer and younger audience. Now, there's one more thing I'd like to share with you. Our digital Paul Revere did some articles, but he also did a video, and I want to end with this video. It's only about 3 minutes. Do I have 3 minutes? Okay. And then at this point, I'd like to, I'll wrap it up.
Power is in inflicting pain and humiliation. Power is in tearing human minds to pieces and putting them together again in new shapes of your own choosing. Do you begin to see then what kind of world we are creating? It is the exact opposite of the stupid hedonistic utopias that the old reformers imagined. A world of fear and treachery and torment, a world of trampling and being trampled upon, a world which will grow not less but more merciless as it refines itself. Progress in our world will be progress toward more pain. The old civilizations claimed that they were founded on love and justice. Ours is founded upon hatred. In our world there will be no emotions except fear, rage, triumph, and self-abasement. Everything else we shall destroy. Everything. Already we are breaking down the habits of thought which have survived from before the revolution. We have cut the links between child and parent, and between man, and between man and woman. No one dares trust a wife or a child or a friend any longer. But in the future there will be no wives and no friends. Children will be taken from their mothers at birth, as one takes eggs from a hen. The sex instinct will be eradicated. Procreation will be an annual formality, like the renewal of a ration card. We shall abolish the orgasm. Our neurologists are at work upon it now. There will be no loyalty except loyalty toward the boy. There will be no love except the love of Big Brother. There will be no laughter except the laugh of triumph over a defeated enemy. There will be no art, no literature, no science. When we are omnipotent, we shall have no more need of science. There will be no distinction between beauty and ugliness. There will be no curiosity, no employment of the process of life. All competing pleasures will be destroyed. But always, do not forget this, Winston, always there will be the intoxication of power, constantly increasing and constantly growing subtler. Always at every moment
there will be the thrill of victory, the sensation of trampling on an enemy who is helpless. If you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever. The moral to be drawn from this dangerous nightmare situation is a simple one. Don't let it happen. It depends on you.